I come from a jurisdiction of 100,000 folks. It's Deschutes County, Oregon. It's the fastest growing county in the northwest region of the United States. And it's an interesting place. It's a rather conservative environment. I know you've got different parties up here. The people in our area are they've been ranching, timber folks. They have a conservative orientation. So if you would, one of my tasks was how do I take these ideas that might have been regarded as progressive, if not liberal, and weave them into a conservative environment. So what I thought I would do for some time here is to take about what lessons have we learned in this effort in our county, how did we apply it, and even get into some of the results we're getting. One thing we learned is participation trumps prescription any day. And when I think about participation trumping prescription, it doesn't only have to do with offenders, it has to do with crime victims. If you take a look at crime victims who've not had a chance to participate in the process, first they get mad at the system. They've experienced trauma that hasn't been dealt with. They get disappointed. People can tend to get cynical. With offenders, not being able to participate in the process, if you think about an adversarial process where somebody gets ordered to do something, how much investment does that person have in what they're being ordered to do? It really gets to be kind of a squirrel cage issue because the person has no knowledge of what the sentence is, quite frankly. I've asked people to go to courtrooms and ask them to stand in the back of the courtroom after a sentencing hearing and listen for the first question that the defendant asks their attorney. And do you know what it is? What happened in there? Now think about that. We spend all this money to arrest, to prosecute, to try, and the very person we're trying to get through, at the end of the hearing has to ask the attorney, what does this mean? What happened in there? What is he going to do with me? And try it sometime. Go to a sentencing hearing and watch after the sentencing the line of questioning that happens between the defendant and their counsel. So one of the things we find is that if the offender is not participating in the process, they've got no investment in making it work. Now, the one nice thing about the community justice processes is you don't prescribe anything for the victim, for the offender. The community's activities are not prescribed. They're offered. And in fact, the offender has to propose how to make things right to the crime victim in the process. If we have a full range of mediation and dialogue services. If we've had any trouble with mediators, it's when they talk too much between the offender and the victim or the family going, the best thing you can do is allow the people to visit about how to make things right and facilitate the questions, but never propose how things are going to be made. Another lesson we've learned is that you get what you measure. I've had the good fortune of working with some researchers across the country, and they kept whispering in my ear that if you're not measuring it, Dennis, don't expect to get it. I'll give you one example. In our county, we had pretty good rhetoric about our responsibility to work with crime victims through the justice system. The rhetoric was good, staff talked about it a lot, but we weren't measuring, were we doing this? So we had a crime victims advocate come, work with us, Ann Seymour, and she put a victim satisfaction survey together for us, which means that every crime victim that comes through our department is provided a survey, and on that survey, they not only give us feedback, did they get their legal information they needed, but they were asked, how were you treated by the staff? How were you treated by people throughout the system? And in the final analysis, what was your satisfaction with service level that you got from the department? And I can tell you this, that I watched the staff the day before that survey went out and the day that the survey started going out. And what do you think I saw? After the survey started going out, well, hello, Mrs. Smith. Yes, I know restitution is important, and come on down. And by the way, I'll get you some coffee when you come down here. So the point there is you'll get what you measure, and what you measure will improve. You'll get what you measure, and what you measure will improve. So one of the things I would encourage your work to up here is set up a system of simple measurements and make those routine so that you can follow those measurements to see how you're performing.